So, remind me again. You had.
I had Mr. or Dr. Professor.
Oh, Professor Ross.
I mean,
or no, was it? No,
Dr.
Pryor.
Pryor.
Yeah.
That's what.
Cool. And he just kind of told you a little bit about our organization and stuff?
Yeah, I went to him first because I just became Christian 2 years ago, and I'm really passionate about it.
Okay.
And so, before then, I thought I found my passion being a businessman. And then after I became a Christian, I was like, how can I incorporate Christianity?
Oh, this is going to be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. So I'm going into my second year, and I want to start a business as soon as I can while I'm at UF, while I have all these resources, people around me. UF itself is like a giant resource. There's so many things there I haven't even found out about, but are.
Do you have
really
like
helpful.
any kind of idea in terms of what kind of business you'd want to start, or?
Yeah, probably like I want to start off small and then just work my way up. And like right now, I work with accessories, something small. Like today, I was just thinking about something that would that you can use on any headphones, and you just wrap it around, and then it'll never tangle. Your headphones never get tangled again. Something simple like that.
Yeah.
And so you just take it out, put it on, and then you just press a button and put it in your pocket.
That's cool.
Because it is a problem, something I have, and if I have a problem, there are other people that have it. And it's headphones getting tangled is pretty big problem everyone knows about.
Yeah.
So just something like that is what I want to start off with. My end goal is to have to manufacture electric vehicles, not necessarily cars that you see in the streets, but that will be one of the major things about it. So it's just a wide range of electric vehicles. That's my end goal. And I have a lot of questions about Christianity, how that incorporates the business.
Sure.
And I just wrote them down on my phone. And so.
Do you go to church somewhere locally, or?
I go to Greenhouse.
Okay.
And also, I'm going to start going to another one also, because they're at different times, so I can go to both of them. And
So cool. So in the fall, there's a group at Greenhouse called Greenhouse Business Leaders.
Yeah, they told me about that.
You should definitely go.
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to be a business owner to go there. I go there, and it's like a 1 hour discussion, but it's really just about bringing like faith and wisdom and bringing like business, like all of it together. And the conversations that take place are really inspiring. So it's something that I think you would get a lot of value out of. And if you're interested in business and you're a Christian, I think it's a great way to bring those things together. Yeah. They're typically on Thursday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Right now during the summer, they're not taking place, but I'm sure they'll start back kind of after school starts in August. So it's just something to keep tabs on, and you can find me on Facebook, and I'll give you all my info before you leave. But
So Thursday mornings at.
they're typically Thursday mornings at 7:30 a.m.
I'll be able to make it.
And
I think so.
the little white building
Hopefully.
out front of Greenhouse.
The main campus then?
Yeah, the main campus on 39th,
Okay.
and the room is L2.
Yeah.
And
That's a good start.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna ask.
But I'll give you my contact. I mean, you have my email and stuff already, so like,
Snapchat.
yeah, Snapchat. I mean, you can just
That's
stay
funny.
in touch with me, and I'll give you the info as it gets closer. I'm sure it's probably going to start back up in late August, early September. But there's so much value there, and I think you would get a lot out of it.
So there are many business people that go there?
What's that?
There are a lot of people that already have businesses.
A lot of business owners, a lot of people who are just interested in starting a business, or people that just have interest in business.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
I
I
can
mean,
find someone else there and partner up with.
There's people in the room that don't have businesses right now, but they know that they want to have a business, and they know that they want it to be based on Christian values and stuff like that. So, like, it'd be a perfect place for you.
Okay, that sounds great. And Joel told me about that. I forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me. But
Yeah.
that's almost exactly what I want to do. There's also another club on campus that I found out. It's also a Christian businessman or something.
Christian Business Leaders, CBL. Yep.
Yeah, and I'll go to that. That only meets over fall also, I think.
Does it?
So, yeah. And so.
Well, one of the guys who was in the Greenhouse group founded that.
Oh, nice.
So his name's Johnny. He started that. I think he just recently graduated, so I think it's obviously being passed down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten to speak at that group, and it's another great group. So
Okay.
I would definitely be involved with them.
Yeah, that was my.
But yeah,
plan.
so tell me what kind of questions you have, or how I can help.
just a few. So it's just, to begin with, Dr. Pryor told me, somewhere in Galatians, Paul tells us to work for ourselves, not for others, something like that. And so he told me that that could be used to support us becoming, or Christians owning businesses. And so that got me thinking, like, what else does the Bible say about businessmen?
I mean, there's so many business lessons that can be pulled from the Bible.
Something eye of the needle.
Yeah.
That's actually one that's often quoted, but it's harder for a rich man to pass through the eye of the needle than it is for no. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'm not.
It's harder for a rich
Give me the
man.
scripture, buddy, so I can look it up.
It's harder for.
I mean, like, there's always stories that I reflect on as a business owner. I can't even tell you where. I just know the stories. Like, for example, there's the one where, a guy shows up to do a job, and he says, all right, I'm going to pay you this. And then a guy shows up later on to do the job, and he pays him the same amount. The guy shows up a few hours later, and another guy shows up, he pays him the same amount. Well, this guy gets upset. Like, why would you pay them the same amount? Like, well, no, you and I we agreed on you agreed to that amount. Like, what's it matter what I pay everybody else? So, I mean, there's crazy good stories in there, and lessons. I think the most important things that you can always pull out of the Bible are what's value based. Like, my Christian values come from treating people the way I want to be treated. Those are very basic principles that are found all over the Bible.
Yeah.
And then you pull in verses like, I have mad respect for people like Tim Tebow, who are just like extremely, they're just extremely passionate about their faith. And like the scriptures under the verses. I mean, like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, I mean, that kind of stuff is a ton of value that can be pulled right out of the Bible. In terms of specific scriptures, like, I don't know them off the top of my head. Right? Be like this.
Verses, just like what you were just doing, just summaries and paraphrases, and what you've learned and what you apply.
Leigh, come here real quick. You got a few minutes?
Sure.
Sit down, please. This is my friend Edgar. This is Leigh.
Edgar, nice to meet you.
Can you reference a business Bible story?
A business Bible
Is there one that
story.
rings?
Something that you've applied to business that's very applicable to business as a Christian.
Bible story? You mean like a Bible story?
Not necessarily a Bible. How about this? A lesson, right? What's the verse we always refer to about being anxious? Matthew 6.
You be anxious about nothing. You never be anxious.
Because in business, you're always like,
You're always anxious.
I mean, you're gonna come across times where you worry, right? Like, I worry about money.
Well,
I worry about making sure my people get paid on Friday. Like,
That's Matthew 6:25 through 34. It's all about worry. Are you?
I didn't memorize
Streets of the
that.
Bible?
Oh yeah, I know.
Well, if you look up Matthew 6:25 through 34, it's all about worrying. It's like you can't add a day to your life worrying about anything. If God's going to supply the birds of the air with food to eat, if He's going to supply the nutrients that the lilies or the flowers need in the field, how much more is He going to do to take care of His people? I mean, really. So it's just kind of useless, and it's fruitless. It's meaningless to try to worry. You can't make the phone ring. You can't make people walk into this business in relationship to this business sitting here worrying about what's going to happen. You'd be better off just going about your business and doing everything that you can. And I'm a big believer in prayer, but I want what God will want me to have. That's it. And be content. That's another thing. See, we can keep on going just with words. Just be content with what you have. Learning to be content.
Where is the verse again?
Matthew 6:25 through 34.
Oh.
This guy's really taught me to really come into business and having the attitude of Lord, this is your business. I'm your servant. Guide me. Guide my steps today. Make me run into the people that you want me to run into.
Yeah.
Like, guide my path, right? Like, I'm here to glorify you. This is your business. Whatever you want me to do, set me in that direction.
That's something
Right.
I'm trying to work on, even as a student, which is where do you want me to leave? And that's led me to start to just be in the business sector. Like, is that a passion that you've had? Something that you just feel like God is choosing you to do, just to be in this, just to be a business owner, to do this?
It's so funny because I'll just give you some examples of times where I know God was right there steering every step. Okay, the biggest I would say so far is coming to this building, this location. We're a half mile from the University of Florida. We were out here a couple miles away at our old location. For the longest time, I wanted to buy that location. I was like, man, I want to own my business property. I want to own. Things never happened. Like we were there from 2007 through 2016. Like, I mean, I'd been out there, I've been paying rent. I'm like, man, I want to own my property. I'm a business owner. I want to own the business. I don't want to be paying rent to somebody else, right? Well, our competitor was in this space, and I had contacted them and said, hey, like, I can tell your heart's not in this, mine is. Like, why don't you let me buy you out? And they said, and for the longest time, they're like, no, Colin, like, we will sell to you, but now's not the day. So I kept every 2 months, hey, like, are you ready to sell to me? Hey, are you ready to sell to me? Finally, they said, okay, Colin, we'll sell to you. I come over here, I start talking to them, I start looking into all the steps necessary to take to make that happen. And they were in such financial trouble that they had to close out anyway. I paid them $0 for their business. They were out on a Friday night. I signed the lease Saturday morning. Okay, driving that morning to sign the lease. Like, I'm in my car. Like, let me describe this to you. I'm in my car, I'm holding the steering wheel. I'm driving to, like, this is like gut. This is like quick decision. Like, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna have a lease over here and a lease over here? Is this really happening? Driving, and I'm saying, God, if I'm not supposed to do this, if my hand is not supposed to sign that lease, I beg you, give me a fender bender, give me anything that keeps me from signing that paper. And dude, I get goosebumps talking about it because I just got chills, right? I got chills. Everything in my body was telling me that is the right decision. Everything. Okay? So I knew it was the right decision. I walk in, I sign the lease. We start getting to work. We opened up the showroom part of this dealership a month later. So we had 2 dealerships in August of 2015. After that was over, my landlord over there, I'm still in the lease through December of 2016. Okay, I'm still in the lease over there. My landlord comes up to me and he goes, hey, so I saw you open up this other dealership. And I'm like, yes. He's like, so what are your intentions with that? Just kind of wanted to fill it out. But I'm like, oh man, I was like, we just saw an opportunity. I was like, we're still very happy here. We don't really have any intentions of moving out. And he goes, well, I don't know if you know this, but we've been paying additional rent somewhere else. And if it makes sense for you to leave and get out of your lease with us early, we would let you out. All right? That's God saying leave. Okay? Like, not many people are just like, hey, we'll let you out of the lease. So I knew that I was being told to get out of that lease and move everybody here. So we started taking the steps necessary. The timing was so perfect because we spent that spring semester, January of 2016 through June of 2016, remodeling that service department. It was the perfect amount of time, and we moved the entire team here, and we opened up here as an entire team on June 1st of 2016. Now we have our entire team at this prime location before going into August, which is our busy season. We crushed it in August. We sold nearly 300 scooters last year in August. So that happens, and then I'm like, man, I really want to buy this product. There's so much happening. The standards being built down there. There's a lot, the Publix. There's a lot of action happening in this area. And I was like, man, we need to buy this property. I'm like, God, I was like, if it's your will, let us buy this property. Let us buy this property, dude. Other people in this town have been trying to buy this property. We bought it. I told the owner, I was like, look, man, like if there's any chances of us buying this, like, let's work something out. And we did. And we bought this property in February of this year. Now we're setting up the foundation. Now where I was begging to buy that property over there, like I wanted to buy that property over there. Now I got something much better. I'm like pointing. It's like 2 miles northeast from here. So, but you know, I'm thinking like, now we have something way better. This property is way better than this. This is in God's timing. Like He made this happen. You know what I mean? Like, I could have forced it. I could have forced it. I could have like made it happen. But that wasn't right. This was right. And now, like when we bought this, we didn't have this room. This was being leased. This warehouse is being leased to someone else. When we bought it, we were able to move them out. And now we have this building too. Now we're saving rent by not paying somebody in North Gainesville to store our stuff. We have everything in one location. So I can't begin to tell you, like, the last 2 years especially, how all of these puzzle pieces just fit perfectly in terms
We're both
of...
not that smart enough, really. We don't have that much money
I don't think
between us,
anyone
so
is.
you could just give the glory to the Lord. That's all there is to it.
Reminds me of with man, this is impossible, but with God, nothing's impossible.
Exactly right.
That reminds me of that.
If you show up to work as a willing vessel in any life, anywhere you go, and pray that, Lord, I want to be where you want me to be, do what you want me to do, when you want me to do it. I'm ready to go. He will not ignore you. And be quick to give the glory to the Lord. That's just it. It's a lifestyle. A lot of people can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Can you truly, it's not easy. It's not for the meek or the timid. It's for tough people to be a Christian and to believe that. I could tell you countless stories of my own life at 66 years old. Same thing. It's just, he just had something better than being over there 2.5 miles in the northeast section. So you just got to wait till his timing is right. Here we are.
I'll put that down. His timing, not mine. And I have a few questions actually. How do you promote Jesus in the workplace? If you do, how do you promote it? Just biblically, or just
So
Christianity?
the best way to display Jesus in your business is for people to see Jesus in me. The way I work, my values, the way I lead. I want people to look at me as a business owner and be like, man, God is with that guy. You know what I mean? And that comes just through my work ethic, through my beliefs, through like just the way I hold myself as a leader. You know, obviously, like there's a lot of when it comes to like government and business, and like there's a lot of things we have to be careful of. We can't force our religion onto anybody, right? Yeah. But what I can do is live out a Christian life, a Spirit-filled life, right? And by doing so, when they come to me and they ask, then I'm there. Just like when I go to this guy and I ask a lot. I mean, there's still a lot of confusion, not confusion, but a lot of things that I constantly question, right? I'm very much like, okay, like if I'm dependent on God, I'm like, all right, God, like I need the business to walk in the front door, like now, and sometimes like I do feel like you do have to do that, but so I'm like, all right, so if I'm dependent on God, am I like just waiting for God to bring me the business, or is it like, you know what, all right, God gave me the brain, the smarts to make this happen, so is he doing that and he's putting it on my shoulders, like I need to do that? So there's still times where I'm like, which direction, what do I got to do? And that's where I think prayer really comes into play. It's just having that peace. The things that we do, we do. Sorry. Okay. It happens. You know, Leigh and I, every Friday morning, we have a devotional together. And we open that up to any other team members that would like to show up. You know, we say, hey, we're going to meet 9 a.m. on Friday morning and have a devotional, but we can't force anybody to be there. You know, like I'm not going to force them to be there, but I hope that over time they'll see the impact that God has had in my life and they'll want to be there.
Does it work, devotionals? Do people show up?
We have in the past. It's still primarily the two of us.
It's still new. Like you said, you can't. All we can do is offer.
Yeah.
And if they feel the calling, they feel like led by God to come over here and see what it's all about. We've had a few here and there that come in and listen and this, that, and the other. But it's just, you can't force it on anybody, obviously. Especially you have to be careful in a workplace and this, that, and the other. But
The way I look at it, if God doesn't even force it on us, how much more are we
you can't
not
impose
supposed to
your will
force
on somebody else, that's a fact. God will not impose his will on you. You come
Exactly.
freely. That's it.
That's the way I look at it. I
So,
heard-
but the best thing is just for people to be able to see you and see a spirit-filled life, and then be like, I want
Be
that
holy
for
as-
myself.
As I am holy, as Jesus holy. I watched the video. What was it about? Dr. Pryor, the one that you filmed on YouTube. It was like 2 hours long, and you said you had Bible verses up around the room or something like that. I'm just wondering, are you able to just put up Bible verses all over the place without constraint, or is there like a
So what's
a
interesting
law?
about that is that those were my Bible verses. I didn't put them up.
Ah, okay.
Another team member did.
That's
If
good.
they want to put Bible verses on their toolboxes, if they want to like put a magnet and have a reminder up there, like you're dang right that I have it on my board in there. You'll see. You walk into my office, you'll see lessons that I learned in church last week, or 2 weeks ago. That say like the living a spirit-filled life, and it talks about the 4 things, and I have no problem with them having Bible verses in their area if that's something that they want to have. And even if they're not Christian, they have other beliefs, like same thing.
Are you able
you know?
to just slap on the Bible verse on the wall? Or is that even legal to do?
I don't think it's.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. 'Cause that's just something I've been thinking about.
But think about this. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to put a
Yeah.
Bible verse up on the wall.
Like-
But like a lot of our we have core values up on our wall, and our values are a direct reflection. I mean, that's what they are.
I saw
They're
that. I saw
values,
Yeah.
right? Like they're not necessarily Bible verses, but they could very well be related to Bible verses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's so much value. There's a lot of values in the Bible. I mean, just like we said, like treating others the way you want to be treated. That could be somebody's core value.
Your best Bible verse is you. In other words, when people see Jesus with you, there's an expression
The Holy
that I've
Spirit
heard years
in you.
ago, you're to be Jesus with skin on. That's basically it, all right? When people see Jesus in you, you don't need a Bible verse. I mean, you really don't. There again, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And people, when they see you walking the walk, and it's not an easy road all the time. He will tell you there's stressful times, even being a Christian. It's not just God's up there just handing out favors to you because you're a Christian. That's not it at all. It's His timing. It's what He wants you to have. In other words, we might want a stable full of Ferraris, but that's not what God wants for us to have, all right? And then we're just content with what we have. If we sell a scooter today, we're content. We'd like to sell 10, but we'll go with what God wants us to have. The biggest obstacle to this is really you. In other words, each one of us actually has a tendency to get in our own way of God. We want to do things our way, especially men. We like to be in control and in charge. And I heard another expression, Leigh, why don't you just get in the back of the bus, put your feet up on a chair, on the seat in front of you, and just let the Lord do the driving. He'll take you where He wants you to be and show you what He wants you to do. But it's hard for men to do that. And it's just, you can just acclimate your mind to doing that. And it's incumbent upon you. You don't wait. We don't sit here and do nothing and wait for the phone to ring or somebody to walk in the door. We're always constantly working at something to promote business and people come in, because it's incumbent upon us to do something, to knock on doors. I've often said, show me where you want me to be, and if it's not where you want me to be, close the door in my nose and let it bleed. I want to know for sure that this is not where I need to be. I need to be someplace else. I'm a little
like
hard
that.
sometimes, but
No,
I need to get it, you know what I mean? So
understand,
just slam the door shut in my nose, and I get it. I get it.
Okay. That's good. How do your non-Christian employees feel about this place? Do they notice the difference? Do they even know that you guys are Christian?
Yeah, I think everybody here knows that we are. I think they know I am.
And just because you're Christian doesn't mean you do everything just like goody-goody and all like that. We lose our tempers. We say things we shouldn't say. We do things we shouldn't do. But we're quick most of the time to to ask God to forgive us. We're just human beings trying to get along in this world the best that we can, and we fall short often. I mean, we really do. So it isn't just because you're a Christian, okay, I'm going to be perfect now. That's not going to happen.
I don't think they think one way or another about it.
No. Okay.
I think it's like, I mean, there's been plenty of times where, I mean, like, you don't, I've had plenty of non-believers work here. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a, obviously, I mean, legally it can't be a factor. It can't be it cannot be a factor in whether or not you hire somebody. And it, I mean, and I can honestly say, like, it never has been. Like, we've had plenty of non-believers here. But I don't think it has changed their work ethic. What I hope is that I find people, whether they're Christian or any other religion or have no religion, that they fall within our value system as a company, those core values. Like, whether or not they fit that, that's what's important to me. And if they do, then again, I hope that by living this out and for them being in this environment, that they see, you know, the Lord's work through me.
Yeah. I think there was a verse that was, it's no longer I that lives, but Jesus Christ that lives in me. Yeah, I see. That's what I'm living at a housing right now with 80 other people, and there's 3 buildings, separated girls and guys, and everyone in there knows I'm Christian pretty much. And I became Christian like the year before, and it's just something I'm really passionate now. And what you said about just being like the light of the world, pretty much, I can see it happening. I'm not boasting on myself. Like before, if I didn't know God or anything like that, I'd be just like everybody else. So it's like all the glory goes to God. But I can see them how I walk into the room and Jesus comes on their mind. It's like, oh, it's the guy who's always talking about Jesus. And it's just, I really like that. Like that.
Yeah.
You can be the light of the world as through Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think there's not time. Like we're not walking around this dealership saying I'm a Christian, you know, like yeah. Like I mean that's not happening. What's happening is working hard, and then when people ask or opportunities come to, you know, to share God's word, then we will. You know, but we're not gonna force it on anybody. We're not gonna. I don't want to make somebody uncomfortable. What I want them to do, I really want them to see the Lord's work in me, and then be curious. I want them to say, like, why is
so different?
How did you buy this? I've actually had people who are blown away. Like, how did you buy this property? Like, it sounds impossible. Like, the people around here who own these other properties have said it's impossible. You know, but we did it, and it wasn't like we that did it. Like, I give all the glory to God, because everything worked out perfectly.
That's really inspirational. Just hearing stories like that. I love hearing stories like that.
You'll have your own in life as a Christian man. You'll have countless stories you can tell your children, your family, and all like that. I can sit here. I'm 66. I can tell you one after the other. After the other.
Yeah.
And only God could do the things that's it. Only God could do it. Most people have a tendency to turn towards God when nobody else on earth can help them. You find it in chapters and hospitals and things like that, when they're faced with calamities or situations where nobody can help them but God. It's just a shame. If you can get there earlier, life would be a whole lot easier for you than it would be if you waited late in your life. That's all.
And darn it, I have a question just to mind. I'll come back to it. If I think about it, I'll come back to it.
No worries.
So, something that I've just been thinking about a lot is what role money plays in like business. Because the Bible says money is the root of evil, and it just talks
For
about
the love.
how the rich man.
That's not money. It's for the love of money. It's the root of all evil. People love money. Money is a commodity, just like a pencil. It's just a tool. It's something you use that you need to be able to conduct business with. But if to love that pencil, and I love that pencil, and I want all the pencils, just like money, that wouldn't be the thing that you would. It would take place of God. And, in other words,
That's
your
the problem.
dependencies
The problem is
on money. You wouldn't want to do that. And I can tell you this: Are you familiar with Malachi 3:10? You look that one up. Malachi 3:10. It's the only place in the Bible where God says, test me. You won't find another place in the Bible where it says, test God. In other words, it's either put up or shut up. You follow me so far? And it's about tithing. When you go to church, if you bring your tithe into the storehouse, you can read the whole Malachi 3:10 and it goes on there. It says, if you bring your tithe into the storehouse, see if I won't pour out a blessing on you that you cannot contain. And even go as far to say, as I will protect the locust from your fields. In other words, he's going to protect you from the evil one, from something trying to destroy your business. It's the only place in the Bible that says that. So when you're talking about money, that's pretty much, that's it. And this doesn't mean if I give him 10%, I want that Ferrari, Lord. I want that Ferrari. Doesn't mean that at all. It's just an act of obedience. Is all it is he wants to say if you're obedient. Did you ever think about life here on earth? You can't live forever. So what are you going to do in eternity? He might have something set up for you in eternity in heaven that just wants to make sure, are you really obedient? That's why you have tough times here. It's nothing more than a test just to see how you can handle it. This is short term. It's a pit stop in life, really life on earth. But just to see, to test your mettle or your character, just to who are you really?
Yeah, when it comes to money, I feel like it's, the Bible often references idolatry, right? It's like you're making, God wants him to be first in your life. Like when you have that love of money, then you're putting that first.
Yeah.
And you're idolizing money. And it's not money all the time. Like, my pastor once said at like church and stuff, he's like, if there's that one thing when you look at your life and you're like, man, like I could not live without it. Like I would kill myself if I didn't have this, or what, you know what I mean? And for some people it's like children, like they couldn't imagine their children dying, you know what I mean? Then that's an idol, right? So it could be like your child could be an idol.
Yeah,
money can be an idol. Possessions can be an idol. And that's where the issue is. I look at it, if you look at a business, and it's tough for even me at times, but when you start looking at it as like, this is not my business, this is his business, and all I am is the steward of that business, then you're in a safe place, because you're putting him first over the money, over anything else that could come from it, right? Because all you're doing is using the business as a tool to serve him. That's exactly the way I approach it. I'm like, this business is a tool to serve others. All right, so God, point me in that direction. Show me how you want this to serve others. And I feel like if I do that correctly and not get sucked back into the worldly problems that we have, then I'm gonna be okay. And it's hard at times. It's hard because I do worry. I do stress. I do get to the end of July counting the dollars and seeing the bank account have very little money in it, and I start stressing. You know, I'm like, man, and I know that I shouldn't. I know that I shouldn't, because I know that, one, God has gotten us this far. He's made all of this happen. Is he really just gonna let it slip out of my hands right now? Right? Like, no, he's absolutely not. I don't believe that he would take this away from me a week and a half before busy season. You know what I mean? So I believe that we're gonna make it. We're gonna be okay. But it's honestly, like, it's taken a lot for me to remember those things, you know.
But even if he did, let's just go one step further. What difference does it make if we move 2.5 miles over there to a better place here? You only fear what you don't know, okay? But what if he's got something 100 times better than this? If you knew that, you couldn't get there fast enough. It's kind of like moving from the Popeye's place over there to here. It's like, wow, wonderful. But you fear what you don't know. But if he did, if God says, I got something else for you to do, I want you to sell scrambled eggs someplace on the corner. let's go over there, and let's go over there and sell scrambled eggs. That's just it. Can you think of a better place to be than where God wants you to be? There you go.
That's good. So you've never lost that that God being number one. Like when you see profits coming in, what do you do to just check yourself? You just not. It's not something you don't focus on. It's just something I already have plans for that money. Nothing more. Or how do you do that?
I mean, I think still to this very day, we're constantly reinvesting the profits back into the business. I mean, you can ask anybody on my team. I do not live a luxurious lifestyle. In fact, we had interns commenting the other day on how they could not believe that I was driving around in a Honda Civic. Right? Like, it's like, all right, you've been in business for 13 years. Don't you think you should be driving like at least an Accord by now? You know what I mean? Like, it's funny, like, but I don't put value in those possessions. What this God first, family second, business third. Like, and even before the business, like, my third family are these guys. Like, if there's anybody that I want to invest in, it's them. You know, I'm taking the steps necessary to be able to provide more for this family, this work family, as soon as I can. I'm pouring dollars right back into the business, because I know that it's gonna help the business. And I do, and I tithe, and I like because I believe, what the Bible says.
Yeah, simple as that. That's going to lead into my next question. What you do with the profits is that you donate to church, to the poor, to only your business, or do you find a balance of both?
So I feel like I'm actually pulling back some in terms of how much I donate. And the reason being is because of the building purchase and a lot of the other things that have happened over the last years, we've put ourselves in a lot of debt. So I know that long term, it's going to be better if I can pay off this debt.
Yeah.
So any profit, I want to pay off the debt as soon as possible, because that's just going to mean more profits. And that's going to give me the ability to donate to other great organizations. We donate so much. Over the years, I can't even tell you the thousands of dollars that we've donated to local charities, organizations. I mean, we always do something with Dance Marathon. Last year, we gave them 2 scooters that helped raise thousands and thousands of dollars for Dance Marathon. There's a lot of things like that we do and that we will continue to do. But I'm definitely trying to balance it a little bit more, because I want to be able to put more money to paying off the debt, because I know that's going to help us and help organizations and everybody later on, you know what I mean? So, and tithing comes off what I take home personally. So I don't know if you listen to I would encourage you to listen to the Dave Ramsey podcast and stuff, because he talks a lot about tithing and.
I'll write that down. What is it?
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, it's just tithing.
It's a podcast, but it's all based on finances. He's really big in finances, but there's always, obviously, the Bible is not very specific on whether you should take 10% of your business's income or 10% of your personal income, and so they provide guidance there, and they teach that it should be off the personal gross income that you take home. But it'd be good education either way, because they're very much talking about not having any debt. He has a 7-step process of getting you completely out of debt and then staying there forever, no debt. So it's really good.
So did you feel led to be an entrepreneur? Because that's how I'm feeling right now. I just feel like God is really wanting me to go into this business, or to be as an entrepreneur. And
It's
there are things that have that are like checking, just making me more sure of that. Like I met Dr. Pryor. He's a Christian. I knew he was Christian before I found out because of what he talked. And you too. You said we want to serve in the video that I watched. You say I want to serve. That's what we're. I'm like that's a very Christian thing to say, and it's just like it really comes off your
yeah, persona.
yeah that
Well, that's good.
that you're Christian. Like I was suspicious of you. And
The
so, but and
Well,
yeah, and
all
I
I- all-
met you guys. I met Dr. Pryor, and as him being the entrepreneur teacher that I have, or that my entrepreneur teacher, it's just like something also that just encourages me that maybe I am going on the right track to do
all
this.
I can say is that I knew that I wasn't on the right track, and what I mean by that is that I was following the processes that the university had set in place for students, right? Like, you graduate high school, you go to college, you pick a major, you do the classes, and then you go get a job. And my parents were very much like that's if I had to say the direction they thought I was gonna go in, that was it too, right? Like this is what you do. This is what happens in life. All I can tell you is that I remember walking into that career showcase, having my suit and tie on, walking in the O-Dome and walking around meeting these recruiters and having my resume in hand, shaking their hand. And the entire time, I was just completely out of my comfort zone. Like, just thinking to myself, I'm never gonna work for you. Like, that was what was going through my mind. I'm like, this is not me, this is not me, this is not me. Like, I just knew that I was never gonna be that guy working in a cubicle. I knew that I was never gonna be that guy wearing a suit every day. I just knew that that wasn't gonna happen. And then from there, man, it was like, dude, it was like light bulbs going off. Because I remember sitting at that bus and having that bus drive by all the time. I remembered when I went to go get my decal to park on campus, right? I remember I went to go get my commuter lot decal, the green one that I could park in the middle of campus, like on Gale Limerend. I think it was north-south drive at the time, like to park there. And when I go to get it, they tell me that you had to have 90 credits in order to park there. It used to be 60. And then when I got up to 90, they bumped it up to 120. So then you had to be a graduate student to park on campus. I'm like, this is crazy. And then I looked around and you saw the University of Florida building a new building on a parking lot where a parking lot used to be. Like, there's just light bulbs. And I'm like, all right, there's an opportunity here. This is happening. I'm a college kid. I can't get to class. To show you my age a little bit, I was recording, like they used to show the classes on Cox Cable, Channel 5 Cox Cable, and I used to set my VCR so I could record on my VCR and watch a tape.
Yeah.
Right, it's not that long ago, it's 2000 to 2004, like, I mean, VCRs are still in, you know?
Yeah.
And, but I remember, like, doing that. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, if I'm a college kid and I can't get to class, how many other college kids can't get to class? And that was it for me. And then I met the right person. I had a friend who was making money out of his dorm room selling little gas scooters on eBay. And I was like, you're selling little gas scooters? Like, that's a type of scooter, and this is a scooter. I'm like, yeah, maybe there's an opportunity here. So, like, he still had 2 years of school left, so I pitched him, like, dude, like, you have 2 years of school left, let's start a business together. We'll import these little things that you're selling on eBay, but you know, here's what's gonna happen at the University of Florida. We'll have motor scooters, and we just ended taking these two ideas and making a business, and that was it. Like, that was January of 2004 when I went in to Career Showcase. January 2004.
Right after it, yeah.
Like, we were in business March of 2004. We rented a building. We did everything. Like, that was, I mean, we're talking 2 months later. Just like that. And everything in my blood told me it was right. Even when my dad, and I had people telling me, no, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think this is a good idea. Everything inside me was telling me it was the right thing to do. So I did it. And I think, I mean, that's definitely a part of me. Like, I'm definitely a risk taker. I knew that now is the time. Don't have a wife, don't have kids, don't have a mortgage, and I didn't have any of that. So if there's any time to try it, that was the time. Luckily for us, it's worked out over the years, and we're still growing, we're still building.
See a lot of similarities between like you and me, because I don't want to work for someone else at all. I just really don't. I hate it pretty much. Like I wanna have the hours for me and everything. So I just really don't want to go into that. And then other things, just as things started popping up and all that, it's just very relatable. It's just, I don't know.
What I would
Very
suggest
interesting.
at this stage, how much school do you have left?
3.5.
Just do as much as possible. Wherever your interest piques you, follow it, right? Just go, like, if you're, I was interested in music. I was working at the recording studio, at a local recording studio. I was working with the radio station. Like, I thought my life was music. I did those things. Everything that I learned in those businesses has helped me today, but I'm not in the music business. So, you know, wherever your interest lies, just go and do those things, do as much as possible. But I can tell you right now, like, if you decide to be an entrepreneur, just know it's not the pretty picture that everybody paints. You think, oh, I get to set my hours from 10 to 6? Yeah, well, guess what? Like, we're open 10 to 6. I'm like 6 to 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Like, you're the first one there. You're the last to leave. You do all the hard. Like, I mean, entrepreneurship is really painted as this awesome thing, and it's trendy and it's all stuff. But man, it is a lot of work, and I'm telling you, not very many people have what it takes. I'm not saying that you don't. I'm just saying you need to figure out whether you do or not, because it's not an 8-hour day job. It's an 18-hour a day job. I don't think a lot of people realize that. It's all the time.
It's not so much an interest as it is a passion. Do you have a passion for anything?
Yeah, entrepreneurship.
But I mean a specific passion for anything other than just entrepreneurship. In other words,
specific.
like him calling doing scooter business. I mean, do you have a
So
passion for
so let's talk
anything?
about that. So what's interesting is that I never, like, where people grow up with a passion for Harleys and a passion for these things, like, I never had a passion for scooters, ever. The first time I even saw a scooter was when I was in college, right? So, like, no passion whatsoever. What I was passionate about was helping people. I was passionate about helping students get to and from class and not having to deal with the bus, because I was frustrated with that. So it definitely came from a mentality of servitude and helping others, and that I'm passionate about helping people. When people ask me what my job is today, my job is to build the best dang team possible. Like, that's what I'm doing every day. Like, my job is to build people. Yes, I'm building a business, but I'm building the people that are building the business. And that's what I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about helping people. And
You've heard the cliche, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
so true.
Yeah.
You just have to find out what do you love to do. I've done a lot of things in my life that made a lot of money. I didn't necessarily love them, and the experiences I had, I wouldn't trade again for anything. But and even not knowing the Lord, I just went into a direction of money. But if you find in your young life right now what you would love to do, where your passion lies, where your interest lies, where you think you can help other people or be a service to God, that's what you want to do.
Leigh, can you talk quickly about your entrepreneurship?
Plumbing business.
I was in the plumbing business for 25 years, and I can tell you that during that whole time, there was several calamities in my life, and I've met people along the way that helped me with that, and this, that, and the other. And there were days in my plumbing business in the beginning where I did know the Lord as much as I'd like to. Here again, it's like I told you before, sometimes it takes calamities in your life to bend your knees. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I did that. And I found that it was later in life, before I wasn't a young man like you, but it was later in life that I met a person that helped me realize that actually walked the walk. And I used to think, I want to be like that. That's what I want to do. It wasn't the money. It was, I want to be that kind of a person. I want to be that kind of a person. He wasn't perfect,
Yeah,
but he was the kind of a person that you just were drawn to, and you just wanted to be a mentor type, a person that would devote his time to you, to help you to do anything, this, that, and the other, would help guide you and direct you, frankly, to show you a better way than the way you're going. In other words, if you're not careful, you're going to end up where you're headed. My wife's been telling me that for years. If you're not careful, you're going to end up where you're headed. So make sure the direction that you want to go. Okay?
That's good advice.
But I mean,
That's why we call him the Chief of Wisdom.
but I'm.
He's literally, that's his title here.
Anything that good comes out of my mouth, it's only because of the Lord. That's it. But I mean, even the reason I'm here, working here, it's just, Colin can tell you that. I mean, he often tells people about even when I'm here. It's just, I could be anywhere, doing pretty much anything with a skill set, and not to brag or anything like that. But I just said to God, when I moved up here 7 years ago from South Florida, I just said, Lord, where do you want me to be? What do you want me to do? You know what I can do and what I can't do. And I come over here to New Scooters Plus and said, I fixed everything but a scooter. And I'm sure it couldn't be that hard, difficult to fix. So he said at the time, there's something in my gut that says I should hire you. Little did he know there was something in his spirit at that time that says, I think, and I told him, so I think I can help you. And that's basically what I do here. Is if you said, what do you do? I've had more.
So when are you going to start helping us?
More titles, the service manager, this, the Chief of Wisdom, and all like that. But my reason basically to be here at my age and at the stage of my life is to help people. That's it. I'm just a servant of the Lord trying to help people the best that I can. Do I fall short? Sometimes I do. And I'm...
What percentage?
I don't know if we're going to go there, do we? But I try my best to help a lot of these young people that just say, hey, Leigh, can I talk to you a little bit or anything like that? It doesn't necessarily have to be about the Lord. It could be about their own problems with school or anything like that. And I just try to use my circumstances and inject the Lord in there from what I know to try to help them and show them that there's a better way to go than the way you're going. Now, you can either reject it or receive it. It's up to them. You can't make people receive it. So it's just, all I do is pretty much plant seeds. That's pretty much it. I'm a seed planter. I'm here to help and spread a little seed around. That's pretty much it.
So that's something that just kept on coming up, to serve and just to serve.
Leigh in Hard Rock says, love all, serve all. You know what I'm saying?
Serve all.
Yeah, Hard Rock Cafe. So.
I think the best leaders are the ones that serve.
Though that is, in the Bible, that is, I think, the definition of a leader. Those who are the lowest, like the servers of everyone else.
Like,
I think Greenhouse had a sermon on that.
you see all these people walking around? They don't work for me. I work for them. It's true.
Yeah. And for others too, who aren't here.
Just trying to help
Right.
people. That's all. Just trying to help people, and if they can see a little bit of Jesus in you, then that's great. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you just try to help them the best that you can. Life's got enough pitfalls. You're going to find that in your life. It's got enough roadblocks, pitfalls, temptations, and pain and suffering and everything like that there is. If you can just keep Jesus close to you, you'd be better off. And never, ever, ever underestimate the power of prayer. Prayer, I don't believe Billy Graham, if he was here sitting here, could tell you really how important prayer is. Prayer is, the Bible says pray without ceasing. I mean, it just, we could sit here and come up with Bible verses and we can pull here and there and everywhere, but it's just, all Jesus wants is an intimate relationship with you. If you can't spend a few minutes a day talking to Him, what makes you think that you're going to get to heaven? Then you got something to talk about? So why not spend a little time here on earth each day just saying, hey, let's sit down and talk before we start the day off. That's it. And at the end of the day, thanks for the day. He's the one that gives you air to breathe.
Yep.
I mean, really.
Yeah. So, are those things that you guys do? Just every day pray that today the business, I use this business to serve and promote you, or just over this and promote you. That's just something, a habit you guys have? Or?
Well, Colin would have his own prayers as I would in my house. Before I leave my house and walk out the door, I generally sit down, read a devotion, and pray. That's what I would do.
I'm like, I wish I could say I had a routine, but there's plenty of mornings where I sit down and read a devotional and read the Bible before coming to work. I've done it several times. There's some times where I'm just listening to the right music on my way into work. I think everybody's a little bit different. Like even last night, as soon as I got home last night, I went for a jog, and I actually ran from my house to Trinity Methodist Church, and then I spent 30 minutes sitting on a bench, like laying on a bench, looking at the sky and just reflecting on the day and praying. You know what I mean? So it definitely varies for me. What I've tried to do as a leader is really make the conversation happen all day long. Really, I think he's really laid that into me a little bit, just like having a constant conversation. I'll get confronted with something, and it's just like, all right, Lord, like, what should I do? Like, what's the steps? And a lot of it has helped in terms of, I can tell you that I used to have, and I still do in some ways, have had a short fuse where if something happened, I would just like, just react. I would just like, I'd be like Steve Spurrier on the side, like throwing the visor down. I'd be like, gotta be kidding me, you know what I mean? And now, like, people can bring me bad news, and it'll just be like, yeah, I mean, it's still stressful, but I could be like, all right, stay calm. That's the core value.
Yeah.
Stay calm, scoot on.
Yeah.
Let's analyze the situation. Say a little prayer. Everything's gonna be okay. Like, this is just another, whether you want to look at it as a test or a preparation for something bigger. Like, I'm always looking at it like that. I'm like, you've got this. Like, I'm gonna be all right. And just kind of saying a quick little prayer and asking God for the right steps. That's definitely been a crucial part of my development as an entrepreneur, is just saying, like, if I'm heading in the wrong direction, start slamming doors in my face, because I don't want to keep going in the wrong direction. You know what I mean? And I do that a lot.
Read the first chapter of James, because it'll tell you in there that when things are going good, well, everything's good. You're all good, and you handle things calmly, rationally, sensibly, not a problem at all. But how do you handle things when things aren't going good? So that's the whole test. So, you know what I'm saying? In other words, why can't we do that when things aren't going so well? It's our emotions that get involved. I mean, we're emotional people. Women more so than men, but we still have emotions. God gave us emotions. It's trying to say, instead of flying off the handle and letting the fuse blow, and I'm guilty more than he even knows in my whole life. Yeah. Trust me when I tell you that. My wife could tell you stories that I'd rather not hear, but trust me when I tell you. And I still learn every day. It's just, nothing can change. You can't change anything with anger. So a better solution would be, let's sit down and think about this. What's the most logical, sensible way to address this without going nuts? That's basically it. You can't even function when your mind is enraged and you're angry. You're not thinking the way you would be thinking if you were sitting down in a business deal or something like a calm, serene business type deal. So how are we going to handle this? Do we have to throw this fit? And then, okay, now we're going to show everybody our Christian character, okay? Let's not do that. Let's try to just keep it in check and think about what we do. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Okay? So let's listen. And then let's speak after we take it all in.
Well, I'm not a business owner yet, but I am getting there.
Good, man.
Yeah. My first product will be a longboard brake, because like you said, if I needed something, a longboard brake, because north to south of UF, it's all downhill, and I don't want to wear a helmet to class because it's just too much, and so I don't want to use my shoe because it'll get degraded, and my foot actually started hurting. So I'm a mechanical engineer as my major, entrepreneurship as my minor, so I designed up a longboard brake, and I'm testing it out right now, and 3D printed it at UF for free. That's what I'm talking about. UF has great resources, and yeah, and if it works out really well, a few more prototypes. I'm gonna start selling those on campus, and that's where I'm gonna start off.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, let me know how I can help. I mean, there's definitely
I'll be coming here more often.
there's definitely a lot of resources available if you end up starting a business and you need to get connected with one of the incubators or accelerators. Like, I'm friends with all of them. Like, I can help you.
Okay.
You know, get in touch with the right people and start making the preparations to actually open up a business. I think you're in the right time. I definitely encourage anybody who has an interest in entrepreneurship to not wait. Like, yes, you're in school, do classes, but explore everything that interests you, because that's how you're gonna find your passion. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey man, really nice
Sorry,
meeting
it
you.
lasted a little longer than
No, hey dude, like it was a very
It's nice to meet you.
a very fun conversation.
Yeah.
So.